Hello Exiles. Several people asked about my Mercenaries setup, so here they are. Apologies for the delayed upload. First, let's start with the build. It's pretty generic Aura bot stuff. It is my first time playing as an Aura bot, so I am just winging it. So we get the Aura bot related unique and rare items. On the tree we want to get as many as possible mana reservation nodes plus 2 large block related clusters to help us with the block cap. And of course we use as many as possible small clusters with the mana reservation mod. Now let me introduce you to Temu Steve. This is my bossing Merc. First, let's get the obvious out of the way. We use Nemes simply because it makes the Molten Strike projectiles to return back to the Merc, which means more damage. The first core item of the build is Enmity's Embrace. Here we care only about the mod that says, damage penetrates fire resistance equal to your overcapped fire resistance, up to a maximum of 200%. Simply said, get fire resistance to increase damage. For the amulet spot we choose the Untouched Soul. The amulet has explicit that says +% to all elemental resistances for each empty white socket on any equipped item. Mercenaries cannot use gems, which means many empty sockets. It's very expensive to make all of the sockets white. I am currently slacking in that department because I am being lazy. Also, I am getting bored from the league, so I don't think I will make all sockets white. But even with the current setup, this Merc is overpowered and can easily clear even pinnacle bosses. I think it was at depth 950 where my Merc killed all with double tank modes with ease. For the helmet spot we choose the Formless Flame. It has good synergy with Enmity's Embrace. Again, a mod that scales with stacking fire resistance. This time the overcapped fire resistance will give to our mercenary survivability, e.g. armor. At this point we established that we need to stack fire resistance to get some fire penetration plus armor. Here Replica Dreamfeather comes at play. This sword makes so our armor also increases our attack damage, and at this point we know the mercenary will have a lot of armor. We pair it with Grelwood Shank. This sword gives point blank. The closer the target is, the more damage the mercenary will output, and he is from the melee type. Also, it gives us iron reflexes, which converts all the evasion rating to armor. On top of that, I am supporting my mercenary with strong grace aura that gets converted to armor. Again, a lot of damage. For the chest spot we go with the Tull mod that says, evasion rating is increased by overcapped cold resistance. This idea was given to me by a viewer that got in touch with me, and we discussed both mercenaries builds. Really great idea, it didn't even occur to me. So now, on top of fire resistance and armor stacking, we can also stack cold resistance for more damage and survivability. The boots are pretty generic. We want as much as possible armor and fire resistance. Some chaos resistance plus life for survivability, and frozen immune to counter the monster's ignite, freeze and shock on hit. T17 map mod. If you are doing Valdo maps, it gets pretty annoying when your Merc gets petrified all the time. To negate that, you can simply use Kayam's roots. Gloves, again armor, fire and cold resistances plus some chaos resistance. Here I fully convert Molten Strike to fire damage because I believe that the skill itself only converts 60% to fire. Correct me if I am wrong. For the implicit I chose non-vol strike skills target one additional nearby enemy because it helped me a bit to get faster to the ziggurat boss when I was doing boss rushing. Ideally you want rage on hit implicit. For the belt we go with Stygian Vice because it appears mercenaries can use Abyss Jewels. We want life, armor, fire, and cold resistance. I got lucky on the Hunter Exalt Orb Slam and got T1% life. Abyss Jewel, it doesn't matter which base type as long it has life, armor, evasion, and one of our desired resistance. If you can get both fire and cold resistance, it's even better. Now let me show you what I forgot regarding the Eldritch implicits. It appears that for some reason our character counts as unique and pinnacle boss towards our mercenary. You can clearly see how he starts to generate endurance charges. I believe you can get to 1 mil or at least close to 1 mil armor if fully min-maxed. I don't think there is point to that unless you are doing void maps. The use of the overcapped fire resistance isn't even at 100% and he still goes in and beats pinnacles like he owns the Atlas. Now we say goodbye to Temu Steve and we go to Depano TV Mapping Mercenary. You should definitely check out Depano and Steve on twitch.tv. They both are cool streamers, go give them a follow. Again, let's start with the easy stuff. Nemes for return proj for KB. Headhunter because mercs go crazy with it. Solstice Vigil for some damage and Shaper's Presence. Again, Anointing multi-shot for extra projectile. For the second ring spot we go with Death's Rush because it gives some chaos resistance, % life on kill, which is very good source of survivability while mapping, and also gives the Merc adrenaline on kill. Adrenaline gives a fair amount of DPS and some physical damage reduction. For the helmet we go with the Fledgling. It gives the mercenary far shot, and projectiles cannot collide with enemies in close range, which has really good synergy with Nemes. Plus 1 power charge is currently useless to us, but they cannot be blinded is nice. Here Impulsa comes into play. Explosions are king when it comes to mapping, and there is an aspect of satisfaction in both clear and sound. Also gives shock immunity, which is nice. For shield we go with Esha's Mirror. It gives shock spread, which is good combo with Impulsa, but here is the tricky part. The added flat lightning damage is global, which means it scales both attacks and spells, but also it adds damage to the impulse's explosions. Gloves. The Fracture Temple mod is not truly necessary, but I am degenerate. The flat accuracy is needed. Ignore the 3 white sockets. These gloves are from my ELE Hit Raider character. We cannot fully convert KB Merc to lightning because they can't wear Watcher's eyes. So I convert 80% to lightning and 20% to cold, which has synergy with the Temple mod. I am currently testing Rage on hit, but so far Intimidate implicit feels better. Boots. Double elevated suffixes, Tailwind and Onslaught. Don't feel obligated to elevate them. This pair of boots might appear hard to craft, but actually it is not. It's just a matter of currency. In fact, all the crafts on both Mercenaries are somewhat deterministic. Again, frozen to make the mapping smooth and elusive as prefix. When crafting those, always remember to have a safety imprint of elevated Tailwind in your stash. The wand is far from insane. Easy craft, but annoying when it comes to rolling alterations and failing recombs. The expensive part is the Veiled Exalted Orb Slam, which you can fail multiple times, but there is a way to preserve your prefixes. At this point in the league there should be cheaper and better wands for sale. If you need help crafting any of the items, just let me know. We use the crafted spell damage mod because KB has a text of line that says, increases and reductions to spell damage also apply to attack damage at 200% of their value. With the current setup, my kineticist and I are at Delve Depth 997. She has no problem clearing. At 1000 depth we have Harbinger node, which used to be Nightmare in ZHP Delve times. It's not an issue for my Merc. And if by chance she gets Soul Eater through Headhunter, the Harbinger should vacate the place without a fight. And now some gameplay.
You know, let me at him.
Even with me being bad at the boss fights, the Merc managed to slap the Eater into oblivion.
Well, what will it still here? Still looking to make some coin.
For some reason every time I don't play PoE for more than 10 to 15 hours the assets start loading anew. I have no idea why. Please excuse the FPS drops.
Swift end.
The next video I am currently preparing is about collecting data from 100 Syndicate medallions. Stay tuned if you are interested in such stuff. Good luck and take care.